multiple ways to build up the draft around those two heroes, and same goes with dealing with what the enemy has drafted.
Yeah, if I am Empire, I guess I would even like that Lina to be a mid. It's really good against Bloodseeker. You can just burst him down so quickly, and you force him, if he goes for, because it goes through the BKB, right? So you can just destroy him.
Yeah.
And if he blood rages himself, you're actually just dead.
Yeah, and it seems like that's what Ehome are thinking as well with the Naga Siren ban, which is probably the 4-position Naga Siren that would have been run next to the Bane.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they think that that is a mid Lina. I would like to see a mid Lina. I think it's better here. I think as a support, she's going to get dominated by Razor plus Bloodseeker. Like, you're not going to survive for any stretch of the imagination. But a core Lina, I've seen that 3 times today. That'd be pretty sick. What do you think, Wepas? You want that? You think it's good? All right, man.
Did you actually forget that it's Griff now, or
no,
are you just trying to mess with
I just do that all the time now.
Wow.
I do the same thing to Wepas. I call him Scriff. And when I see MSS, I call him Bulba.
That's racist.
Is it? How is that racist?
Tidehunter banned away by Team Empire. That hero seeing more and more love as time goes on, it seems.
Tidehunter?
Yeah.
It's good. It's good here. Ehome take the Clockwork, so then their lanes are pretty established. You know what? I would actually like to see... No, the Bloodseeker definitely can't go mid. It has to be the Razor. The Bloodseeker would get destroyed mid. Because if it's a Lina mid, then the Bane just rotates in, and the Earthshaker fissures from distance. Can't do anything. I've been in this position before.
So it's got to be a Razor mid, Bloodseeker. Defensive tri-lane around Tim. The Rubick Dazzle can rotate mid every once in a while, but...
Empire, real talk, just take Shadow Demon or something. That'd be sick. Or Disruptor. Disruptor would be nice too. I would like either of those heroes.
There's something about Shadow Demon Bane or Shadow Demon Dazzle.
That sounds terrible.
That is incredibly fun to watch, because if you get it right, your positioning right, you've got the double saves for these heroes.
But if not, you just look like an idiot because you stack stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to have really good teamwork, really good coordination in your team fights to utilize both defensive heroes at the same time.
You've got to have international caliber players.
Well, funny thing.
Haha.
All right, Team Empire, 30 seconds.
This is like...
What about a support Mirana?
Support Mirana. Oh, wait, by the way, yes, last game, I think you actually got the time and really close, actually. The time and the win, remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I told you they would take a wisp.
You're right.
I told you.
They took a wisp.
Can you please tell the public I called the wisp? Thank you.
Yeah, are you talking about when we go to the main stream?
Yes, I did. I called the wisp.
I mean, that's like you calling the Storm Spirit last game.
Call me Chubby Winter, dude. Thank you. I called it right. Call me Chubby Winter on stream, man. It won't be messed up at all.
No, I'm going to call you that.
Okay, thank you.
I'm definitely
Please tell them. Please tell them I guessed 1, 2, 3 of the heroes on Empire, and I guessed. I want to say I'm just gonna take credit because everybody would have guessed Bloodseeker. I guess like don't tell them how I went for Ehome. Don't tell my sister.
Don't tell them about all the mistakes I made.
Just
go ahead and tell them about everything I did correctly.
Just tell them that I almost guessed Empire's lineup. Thank you. Thank you.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, okay.
Yo, Ehome's lineup is... It was picked in an odd order.
Okay, who's winning?
I think Empire will come out on top, but it'll be close. And I don't know. This one's tough, actually. Because Ehome's... I like Empire's lineup better, but I think Ehome's lineup actually almost perfectly counters them.
Give me a time, though.
47 minutes.
All right. Let's see if you're closer than I was last
really
game.
Close.
But welcome everybody who's just now joining us on the main stream. Of course, you have myself, Dota Capitalist, going to be casting this game alongside Chubby Winter, who proved his drafting prowess in naming almost every single one of the heroes that Team Empire picked up. Of course, by Chubby Winter, I'm referring to Blitz Dota.
I guessed that Wisp pick. Thank you. Chubby Winter prevails. I'm not a Merlini type. Merlini dates my sister. Right?
Forced Merlini.
Yeah, that's like a weird. I'm definitely not. That's just a weird association. There'll be 3 Merlinis and 1 Chubby Winter. Like that's the order of how we're calling this.
All right, Team Ehome facing up against Team Empire. Empire just suffering a 2-0 loss against Vici Gaming. Are hoping to be able to get a better standing in their group by 2-0ing Ehome here. Ehome, of course, being the winner of the Chinese qualifier. Looked rather strong there. Their draft is certainly something rather interesting. You've got some heroes that we haven't seen as much of in the group stage and wildcard matches. I'm referring, of course, primarily to like the Razor, who has been seen here and there, and we have both talked about how the Razor and Viper are, you know, game-winning heroes right now in the current meta. And the Bloodseeker, who has been definitely seen here and there. It's just is question of, I guess, whether or not he is a good enough hero, despite how unique he is.
I think that the hero just works well with most lineups, because what are the two things a team values over anything? Vision and mobility, I feel. And he provides you both of those in spades.
Right.
And at top, all right, this is super interesting for me that Ehome decided to go for the aggressive tri-lane, because typically against a hero like, what is it, Gyrocopter, you'll just give it up. You'll just say to yourself, it's not possible, the Rocket Barrage is too strong. But I guess it does force Aloha Dance to play behind Silent, and they can't really go for the stacks, but it actually seems like the Bane is just going to sit mid and try to get Resolution a good start, because CTY's got the backup of DDC, and the kill potential is definitely there for them, but this top lane is going to be really brutal for this Gyrocopter if nobody rotates over.
It just kind of seems like that despite the fact they have this like really good Bane, like sleep into Light Strike or Ray, there's no chance that they could kill CTY simply because the Dazzle should be there to be able to heal up as soon as he gets level 2, because he went Poison Touch first. But like he's got the healer Shallow Grave, and then Bloodseeker is able to get a couple of right clicks, and he's back up to over half HP. So I'm not sure if they're really going to be, like, I'm not sure if this dual lane's actually going to work out for Team Empire in getting kills, but maybe it can put enough pressure on this lane that they can win out in CS. That just leaves our bottom lane matchup, which ROTK is going to be playing the Clockwork up against Yoki's Earthshaker. This is a matchup that can be pretty favorable for the Clockwork if he finds the right openings for Battery Assault and Cogs.
Yeah, you're seeing that reflected in his build too. He decided to go for 2 into the Battery Assault because the kill potential is definitely there, and Always Want to Fly has to be really careful here, but Empire has the better kill potential for this mid lane as long as they open up on the support first rather than going for CTY. But it's still kind of difficult right now, but they're going to make an attempt just to harass, but I don't even know.
Razor left alone up in this top lane, drops very low to the Rocket Barrage. Now Lottom needs some help as he tries to run himself away, gets the telekinesis, but 2 different Rocket Barrages dishing out a lot of damage. Aloha Dance dropping pretty low there. Oh, Black Kennedy wants to go for that one more shot. He's there. Beautiful play there from Silent, the signature Gyrocopter player himself. Shows us how it's done.
Yeah, that's why you ban the Silent Gyrocopter. You can't, you have to respect that. I said it in the draft too. He's just so good with the hero.
Oh, the Courier too.
Even
careful. Resolution finds the pickoff on DDC. The Dazzle goes down, and perhaps paying for his early level of Poison Touch, lacking the Shallow Grave to save himself.
Yeah, I think that he didn't anticipate that happening, but if the support dies, it doesn't really matter. CTY can't really do a whole lot, and so they have to be more careful about that because the kill potential is definitely there for Empire, and they have to respect that, but CTY is just going to right-click Resolution, and this might actually be enough for him to get a kill.
He brain saps up. CTY drops a bit low. I like the fact that CTY doesn't use the Blood Rage there to overly commit, because you could tell Empire is ready to turn it around on him. I mean, Brain Sap is such a gigantic exchange in HP. Level 2, you're talking about a 320 damage exchange in the one-on-one battle between Bloodseeker and the Bane. So that very easily could have gone terribly wrong if he Blood Raged himself.
Yeah, it's this bottom lane right now that I'm a bit worried about, because already the Clockwork has built up a boots lead over this Earthshaker, and there's going to be a time period where Yoki just has to be so incredibly afraid of ROTK just being able to go right on top of him and kill him. Like, he can go for the 2nd level of Rocket Flare here, but if he wants to just all in, yeah, he's got the 3rd level of the Battery Assault, and so now you're just going to see ROTK play so aggressively up on him, and especially once he hits level 6, Yoki's just liable to die. So I think the better thing for him to do here is just maybe not even approach this lane and try to go for a gank or a counter gank, because standing in that bottom lane, you have to know what's going to come.
If he does stay in this bottom lane, he has to have TP support ready to go. And as it stands, the Bane doesn't have a TP, nor does the Wisp. So it seems like that's just not going to be coming to him. So I kind of agree with your analysis that he should perhaps just rotate out because with the Clockwork hitting his level 6, it's a very easy straight up kill. And if you start feeding that Clockwork, he gets the fast blade mail, and then your Gyrocopter is going to be severely threatened, right? Because there's this awkward, this awkward back and forth between the Clockwork and the Gyrocopter being on opposite sides, and who's really stronger against who. The Clockwork gets a really good lead. Blade mail is incredibly good versus Gyrocopter because that just reflects all that rocket barrage damage back, so you're able to constantly drop the Gyrocopter, jump on him without fear.
If I'm Resolution though, I would be worried because I'm afraid of the gank rotation by the Clockwork. That would be really dangerous because right now the Clockwork can pretty much kill anybody, but the Gyrocopter is probably a bad idea, right? If he gets locked in through rocket barrage, would probably kill him, I'm guessing. So I think you just keep a TP if you're ROTK, look for opportunities around the map, and just parlay the lane advantage that you're getting right now into a gank, rather than just sitting static. And you notice that Yoki, like I said, he just leaves this bottom lane because there's only potential for him to die there. Like, him standing in that bottom lane actually doesn't accomplish anything. And so now you're seeing what's happening. ROTK is going to go around the map, let the Razor farm this bottom lane, and with his first hookshot, just try to get aggressive and kill a core hero.
And Yoki, doing the correct thing in response, is not going to head down to the bottom lane and just waiting for the counter initiate in middle, or maybe the straight up initiation onto CTY, but as I say that, CTY has backed himself up to the safety of DDC's heals. So RTK, let's see what he can do with his first hook shot towards that middle lane. If it's successful, it'll bump CTY up to his level 6 ahead of the Lina, which may be kind of a snowball factor.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that this gank is one almost everybody does. Like, predicting this isn't even good analysis, it's just obvious. Is that once the Clockwork hits level 6, and look, Resolution is still caught out by it.
The sleep is placed onto RTK, and they immediately eat through the cost. That was a very heads-up play, and now Resolution turns his double damage and Blood Rage onto the heroes of Ehome, just dealing a bit of harassment. They back themselves up, CTY. Quick to dodge that Light Strike array. Still got to play careful around that Lina, especially now that she's picked up that level 6 and has Laguna Blade ready to go.
Yeah, so the thing is, if you're an offlaner, when you hit level 6 like that, or I guess he was in the safe lane, but he's still playing the position 3, you're often going to see as soon as that Clockwork hits level 6, you're going to go for that gank, right? Every single time. It's almost always going to be on the mid hero because the safe laner is a Gyrocopter. You know that it's incredibly unsafe because Aloha Dance, because he's stacking the jungle, he's pulling, you know he's going to be up there. So mid is the easy target. And as a response, Empire actually lets it happen. And they just sit behind him and are completely prepared for that gank attempt. And now what that does is it allows Yoki to catch up in this bottom lane again because he knows that the Clockwork doesn't have Rocket. And now the Clockwork has to rotate around the map again, try to get something accomplished.
Oh no. Counter ward for counter ward. So Empire, the Bane just laid down a counter ward. Clockwork came over and killed it with the Tango, and now the counter ward that was still left from Ehome because he managed to come over and kill the enemy counter ward is now revealing the fresh Observer ward that was just placed. Fortunately, though, it doesn't seem like the Observer ward is going to die as 20 seconds are left. DDC, oh, he's going to make his way over in time. He will kill it. He's got an extra counter ward just in case. So that's a serious loss of vision there for Team Empire. Significant back and forth.
Yeah, that's the exciting stuff as a support. The ward-on-ward battles. It's really interesting to see how people prioritize warding, especially when they know that there's a ward there, and whether or not you choose to play around that fact or whether you just straight up deward it. But obviously in this situation, this early in the game, you just go for the deward. Empire might have some knowledge that there is a ward there, but it's almost like a mind game because he places sentry there too, right? And there's almost no point in dewarding the sentry, so it's like, why bother even checking for that?
Yoki is back to his old lane, sitting there at bottom, trying to soak up some more experience and get the gold for his early Blink Dagger. Silent is still free farming away as the Gyrocopter up at the top lane. He's got soon to be level 8, and the relocate is available on the Wiz. So if Team Empire find an opening, they certainly can join the team fight. But it seems like we have to wait for some items before Empire truly go out and get consistently aggressive. We need the Yule Scepter on Lina. We need a Blink Dagger on Earthshaker.
Yeah, and ROTK, I mean, he hasn't been able to accomplish anything. He had such a fantastic start. He was actually leading this game in CS for quite some time, but now you're just seeing him drop off because he doesn't really want to approach that off lane the Bane and the Gyrocopter enough to kill him, but at the same time, he can't just sit behind mid because he knows that the Lina is aware that that gank is coming, and so there'll be at least one hero there. And then the off lane, he's not really a pushing hero, and so this gank attempt mid has to work out for him. He actually has to get something done because he's been smoked up walking around for quite some time, and it just hasn't been productive.
Sure enough, it does not work out for him. RTK, smoke runs out, Lina backed himself up, so is not going to be caught. That being said, CTY as the Bloodseeker offers a significant advantage to his allies that most other mids do not. There are very few mids, such as the Ehome, who can do what CTY is doing now, which is full-time jungling. This will kind of open up the middle lane for any supports that need experience, or maybe even ROTK if he just is not finding that one opening to jump any heroes and just wants to farm.
Yeah, just giving your support the ability to soak up mid XP means that DDC, when he had to originally split XP with that mid hero, it just allows him to catch up. But at top, it's a little bit scary, and Always Wanna Fly is looking for that Fiend's Grip setup, and he gets it.
Yeah, there is Yoki and Resolution coming in from the side. Fisher block is there, Light Strike Array, not quite the snag in DDC, but with the relocate in, they will be able to finish him off. And RTK, nowhere to run to, and certainly nowhere to hide. Empire find 2 as they 5-man up to the top lane.
Yeah, and that was just such a good relocate combination by them. They're just farming the jungle, looking for opportunities like that, and it makes it difficult for Ehome to pressure that Gyrocopter, but at the same time, Resolution comes in. It looked like he was in trouble for a second, but the Gyrocopter at the same time, it just feels like this game especially, Empire are a lot more in sync than they were last game.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Certainly.
Radiant's
Razor is free farming away, trying to make up for the fact that they ran sort of an aggressive dual lane. He was obviously going to fall a bit farther behind in farm, especially experience with that one. So they're giving him a lot of solo XP now. Resolution comes down to the bottom lane with the gigantic creep wave that's there. It'll bring him pretty close to his Yule Scepter, and that's when we can finally start getting aggressive with our mid hero from Team Empire, moving around the map, trying to find those openings. I mean, just the Yule Scepter and combination for Lina alone is enough to be able to kill most of the heroes on Team Ehome. If you utilize that Yule Scepter to be able to set up or relocate as well, it's almost all but guaranteed that that hero dies.
Oh yeah, definitely. The amount of burst damage that Empire can put out is actually really fearsome this game, and they're doing a pretty good job right now of keeping map control, but at the same time, Ehome has a lot of different ways to get ahead in this game. The one thing that does concern me a little bit, though, is that ROTK hasn't been able to get anything for about the last 5 minutes. Like, he hit his level 7 really early, and he actually had 30 CS, I believe, at the 7-minute mark or something like that. And since in the 5 minutes since then, we've seen him gain 1 level and 2 CS, and Empire have just done a really good job of countering his play. Like, almost this entire game. When he went for the hook shot mid, they were prepared. When he went for the hook shot at top, they were prepared. And it just feels like it's not even his bad. It's not even that he's playing badly. It's just that Empire's reading the clockwork.
Do you continue to try and look for those openings even if you aren't finding them? Or do you think at a certain point you give up and try and go for a farm?
You have to continue to look for these opportunities because the Razor isn't going to be a space-creating hero, and neither is the Bloodseeker, who's went for the Midas, but this relocate, play bottom, it's actually just going to be so critical right now.
Yeah, it's not even needing a relocate, it seems, is just the sleep set into the Lina's combination is enough to get the 1 kill. The rest of Ehome do back themselves up in time that they will get away. Team Empire, though, if they don't need to relocate, they're not going to, because this allows the Gyrocopter to continue to free farm up the top lane, where they now claim a Tier 1 tower.
And that's fairly significant that they were able to get a kill on that Rubik and take that tower uncontested. Empire just continue to kind of spread their influence throughout their map. It's really difficult right now for Ehome to engage them because they have such greedy cores, and the Clockwork still isn't being able to gain anything, on top of the Bloodseeker opting to go for the Hand of Midas, so he's not really going to provide too much for you early, and it seems like CTY is wholly focused on going for farm. But I think the mistake with that is that somebody has to create space for this Razor, who is quite far behind, and to my knowledge, at least, I feel like Razor is a hero that has to get ahead and stay ahead.
Agreed. I mean, he's one of those heroes like Viper, who's sort of a lane dominator, but also is incredibly strong in the mid game. And so he kind of relies on being ahead, or at least even with many heroes in net worth, in order to truly challenge and out them with all the early action that's going on. But he's only sitting at 4,200. Quite far behind both the Bloodseeker, Lina, and Gyrocopter.
Yeah, if I'm Ehome right now, I would be pretty frustrated because Empire, because they're just farming the jungle repeatedly, they're making it so difficult for Ehome to kind of pressure around the map. Last game when we saw Empire play against Vici, excuse me, we saw how early they invaded the jungle, right? To try to root out Silence and just try to take control of that really early and take that top tower. But this game, Ehome, with the type of lineup that they have, they went more for the laning phase than they did for a team fight. And so Empire's just going to gradually outfarm them.
Smoked is now up on Bane, 0-5. Ehome still have yet to find that one kill. It's just so surprising, especially with a Clockwork who's usually able to find those early openings. RTK seems to be spending a little bit more time farming now, is getting a little bit closer to that Blade Mail, but it's just not the way he wants to play his Clockwork. He wants to be able to find openings, get hero kills, and snowball through that. Instead, he just seems to be getting his items through slow tick gold and the occasional rocket flare.
Yeah, these three heroes are LAN-M plus ROTK, and DDC is probably just going to sit behind one of the cores. And so as long as Empire just continue to split up, they'll be fine. The good news, though, for Ehome, not to just only praise Empire or anything like that, is that CTY is getting a really solid amount of farm. And once he gets a BKB, things become so much easier for them. And they do have a ton of teamfight potential. They just need to distribute the farm on their cores a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, the Aghanim's not going to be coming anytime soon for Resolution. He only just now got the Yule Scepter, so the BKB should be very effective for CTY for quite some time, unless he gets caught by Fiend's Grip, or maybe Empire manages to slow down that BKB with a rotation out from Silent and Aloha Dance. CTY has no extra movement speed, and that Rocket Barrage just ripped him a new one. Lonham's going to try and TP out, runs into the trees, but is still caught by both the Yule Scepter as well as the Fisher. Notice out that TP, so Empire pick up a secondary kill. 7-0 now to their favor.
The Bloodseeker was Blood Rage because he was farming the jungle, and obviously you can't really dispel that at that point.
Yeah.
And then the one Rocket Barrage killed him. Like, that was all it actually took. One Rocket Barrage and one right click. That's actually how much damage it does right now. And Empire 7-0 up right now, Cap, and it's starting to look a little bit scary right now because Ehome haven't had a response yet, and ROTK continues to get shut out of this game.
Yeah, and at this rate, I'm not so sure that the BKB is going to be as effective for the Bloodseeker as we thought. I mean, Bane shouldn't really be able to get a full Fiend's Grip off on the Bloodseeker due to certain heroes like Rubik, Clockwork. I mean, they've got a couple different ways to be able to stop that channel. But if Empire are so far ahead and they're able to play very dominantly and aggressively and run out the Ehome heroes, they may not have the positioning in these team fights to stop it. Always want to fly, hiding himself inside, TP's out, and Ehome don't know a thing. They're still going to be able to get the hook shot onto Silent. Aloha Dance with the relocate out. The Cox actually push him back. That stops the relocate. And ROTK, he's even going to be able to get out of this one. He hides himself in the trees and starts bottling himself up. Fiend's Grip getting laid down onto the Razor. They pick up both him and the Clockwork. Yule Scepter being placed on the Bloodseeker. Light Strike Array lands. They're going to try and burst down CTY before he can go. I always want to fly. Yoki gets the Echo Slam in order to finish him off. And now the two supports on the run. Fisher lays out Lonham and catches DDC as well. Empire. It started off a little rocky there with the Bane leaving and the Gyrocopter going down, but with just the power of these two supports and the Lina, they easily clean up all the Ehome members.
Always want to fly, being in that position. Like, he had two rough games last game where it just felt like he wasn't really quite sure what he was doing around the map, but that right there, hiding behind that tree line, having that ward set up for that, being able to spot the rotation coming in, Empire with the beautiful fight to get such an advantage now because Yoki, he's got his Blink Dagger at the same time. The Razor does manage to complete his mech, but the amount of farm that Empire just got off of that and the map control they're going to have now with Resolution picking up a Shadow Blade, now things get really difficult for Ehome.
Yoki now, oh boy. This is so rough for a Bloodseeker who is trying to go all in on that early BKB, but now he doesn't have it, and even if he did, when he's Blood Rage farming and Yoki just comes up, Blink Echo Slams, like, Yoki can one-shot the Bloodseeker now when he has that early Blink Dagger and the level 2 ultimate as well. This is going to be a very precarious position for a Bloodseeker to sit in, and Resolution with the early Laguna Blade can also pick off heroes like the Bloodseeker, or in this case, Lonham's Rubik.
Yeah, and this is the issue right now for Ehome, is that their supports are too underleveled and too underfarmed, to be able to really do anything about this, because just by virtue of having that Shadow Blade, it completely changes the way that Ehome has to play, because now look at them. They're clumped up in the jungle, pretty much watching CTY farm because they're so afraid. And here we go.
TK jumps on Always Wanna Fly. They try and throw out the Fissure in order to push Always Wanna Fly out, but it doesn't quite work. There's still the relocate though as Gyrocopter challenges the Razor. He does have the Rupture on him. CTY though is unable to go onto Silent. They do pick up the kill on the Clockwork in the end. Looks like kind of a 1-for-1 trade-off with obviously the Rubik dying earlier to Resolution.
Yeah, and Resolution picks up a godlike spree just 19 minutes into the game. He's got so much farm, and that Shadow Blade, like I said, is just doing so much work, and Silent just continues to farm the jungle and has Aloha Dance pretty much do his dirty work and drag him in whenever the team needs him on the opposite side of the map. And Ehome is continuing to just kind of be stuck into their side of the map, and it's making them unable to pressure the jungle, and it just means that Empire is going to continue to outfarm them, but they still have a lot of hope in this game. Like, CTY is about to pick up a BKB, and I genuinely think that does change a lot for them, because there's not going to be an Aghanim Scepter for at least another 3 or 4 minutes for Resolution, as long as they don't just lose heroes after hero. And it looks like Ehome wants to get in this fight. They've got a mech up. This might actually be their best shot. Mech and BKB are available to them.
Yeah, it seems Ehome feel that the BKB has changed enough for them that they're going to be able to actually take Team Empire in a fight. Ultimate getting laid down for the Gyrocopter, revealing that Tier 1 tower. It should be denied out. Empire are going to rotate over, though, with Resolution. Start things off with this Shadow Blade. See if we can get a kill. Ehome still have a couple of smoked members. The smoke does run out now. Empire,
they spot them too. Ehome. They know.
See it now, and they're going to make the rotation over. Wisp does come in, positioning himself rather aggressively. He's now going to be jumped in from the hook shot. Aloha Dance does have the tether out. He's going to be able to get himself away. Always Want to Fly actually grabbing ROTK with full Fiend's Grip. No interception whatsoever for Ehome because they're trying to focus on Silent right now. CTY with that BKB is able to get that one, but an Echo Slam takes out the Razor, and Yoki hoping to be able to get more, but 2 escape on the side of Ehome. Looks like they'll just have to content themselves with the kill on DDC.
Oh, he's going to continue chasing this.
Yeah, he's going to be able to jump onto ROTK, and a Fissure laid out hits Lanham as well. Always Want to Fly, Brain Zap. Oh boy, 5 HP. Resolution wants the kill, but Dragon Slave and the range of his right clicks just wasn't quite there. So Resolution is forced back. Still, I mean, it's not great for Ehome, but at the very least they got the Gyrocopter, right?
That fight wasn't that bad for them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not ideal, obviously, because they lost more heroes, but still, that BKB did do a lot of work, and it made it almost impossible for the Wisp to be able to stop the Bloodseeker from just running at him, because he spent so much of this game just shadowing wherever the Gyrocopter does and not being able to get any CS or kills of his own. And so it's going to be pretty difficult for Aloha Dance to get any measure of farm to be able to escape the Bloodseeker. The Bloodseeker BKB is a pretty significant pickup, and it's not like CTY is going to get under-farmed throughout this game. He's got a Hand of Midas. That BKB obviously really strong, but my main concern for Ehome probably at this moment is what happens once Resolution gets that Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Right, I feel like that was the first reveal of the BKB, like the first chance for them to really dominate a team fight, and they still kind of lost it. And now with the axe coming in soon, Razor almost dropping there to Silent and Aloha Dance. They come in. There it is. A nice Shallow Grave gets laid out, and it seems Razor will actually survive. Both Silent and the Wisp are potentially going to go down. They do get the Razor. Silent is also going to be able to get ROTK, but in the end, he'll die to CTY. So a fair trade-off. Ehome will probably be willing to make that trade every single day of the week, even though it was 2 cores for a core and a support.
Yeah, but CTY is rapidly catching up in levels right now, and he's doing a good job of taking out the Gyrocopter, so he can't really do too much, but now there is a completed Aghanim Scepter on the Lina. She's about to hit level 16, and if CTY has Blood Rage on, even if he has BKB on, I feel like he just blows up. He has to be so worried about that right now, and he might not even be aware that Resolution has completed this Aghanim Scepter, although Resolution's going to show it in this mid lane because he just wants to get level 16 for that next fight.
Team Empire still have very good control of the map. 4 staff coming in for the Earthshaker soon to obviously to deal with the Clockwork, who is quite the nuisance for any Earthshaker. Other than that, with the Ags finished up on the Lina, we can now see what kind of builds you go for in this game outside of the Aghanim Scepter. Do you want to go for like the Refresher so you have just double Laguna Blades to lay out, or do you like the right-click build that we see from some Lina's late game?
I think first and foremost you have to go for a BKB. Because
Okay.
what kills you right now is ROTK getting the hook shot and forcing you to use a spell or die. Once he has that Blade Mail on, you get isolated out. I actually think that's how Ehome can win a fight still, is that if they initiate on Resolution, who's 12-0, and they're able to get a kill on a fairly significant hero, let's say CTY gets the last hit, then that's a pretty significant lead switch. But he's going to hit his level 16 right now, and he doesn't have the BKB available, and so maybe Empire just decided to go for something like a safe Roshan and then rotate around the map.
I'm gonna say that's probably the first time I've ever seen a Rubik using Flak Cannon successfully to help farm up a camp. Obviously, he didn't pick up any of the last hits, but there's big old ancient stackle on him. Joins his Flak Cannon right clicks to help deal with that one. The rest of the team gonna have to fall back though. Both middle and bottom lane are pushing out. Team Empire just have so much control of the map that they're able to farm up both jungles essentially, and should always be able to build more of an economic advantage as time goes on. Ehome, when is really their turn to be aggressive? At what point in time, what item pickups do you need on Bloodseeker and Razor that finally allow you to come out on top in team fights?
BKBs, more than anything. Just BKBs are going to be what save you right now. Because you just have to worry so much about the stun from the Lina, the Echo Slam and the Fissure. It's just disrupting too much in these fights, and so being able to pick up a BKB on the Razor, being able to pick up
Radiant's top
probably
tower is under attack.
I think the Clockwork goes for a 4-staff or an Aghanims, maybe even a 4-staff. Because once he sees that Gyrocopter has a BKB, you don't want to be stuck in the Thunderdome with him anymore.
This will also allow him to pursue the 4-staff Earthshaker, right? When he is able to jump him, Earthshaker 4 staffs away, you do something similar on the Clockwork, try and stay in range with that Battery Assault.
Yeah, exactly. I think going for a BKB on ROTK is a little bit unfeasible. It'll take too long, whereas the 4-staff is an easier build-up, but right now Empire, I think they should just look for the Roshan because they've shown the BKB on silent, and so they are trying to demonstrate to Ehome, yes, we're Roshan, come take a fight.
There's a haste rune for Resolution to take as well, so he'll have that one bottled up for the next fight. Little hot dance, put himself on the tree. Okay, he actually stopped his tether. Maybe he wants to, is this intentional for him to be up on the cliff so he's able to get a good relocate save? And there's no chance that, very little chance at least, that Ehome's able to catch him out.
Yeah, it's not a terrible play, but the problem is that the Clockwork Rocket spots it, and so it kind of renders it a little bit useless. So Aloha Dance has to be really careful about being caught out, but Ehome are completely prepared for this. They're rotating heroes down, but YJ just wants to get his BKB as soon as he can.
5-man smoke. Team Empire, pretty classic play. When you're on the dire side and you want to go for Roshan, but the enemy team knows about it, you don't want to just go into the Roshan fight and let them initiate on you. Very often what teams do is smoke up and make the full rotation into the enemy jungle and wrap around. And the best thing is possible is that you catch the enemy team in this area and you actually have the high ground advantage over them. This time, Team Empire don't actually find anybody and end up pretty much where they started, at the Roshan pit.
Yeah, and ROTK is just firing rockets into there, and Empire actually don't seem to know really what's going on because they don't have wards on that side of the map. And they're probably confused because they're like, are they smoking around on us? Is that what's happening right now? But that can't actually happen just because they have the tier 2 mid still up and the tier 1 bottom. So Empire are going to head to this top lane. And there is vision from, they should spot this out, yeah. They're pinging it out like crazy, and they do want to get in this fight, and ROTK should know that somebody's nearby.
Yep, they catch him out with the Fissure to lead things off. Now Resolution's kind of stuck, but Yoki actually pinking forward aggressively, hoping to catch some more heroes. I can't really blame him with Empire barreling down on the Gyrocopter. They just needed some disables to get more. Yoki unfortunately led to Fissure being stolen by the Rubik. That's going to be a significant upgrade in damage and disable for Ehome in the next fight.
So if you're Ehome, you've got 2 BKBs, a Glimmer Cape on your Rubik, and that's the thing that you should look out for if you're a student of the game. What can they really get that'll change their fortunes next? And is there a significant item that's going to really impact the next fight? And in my opinion, the Clockwork just doesn't have enough gold saved up to really attempt to go for a next item. And so I think if you're Ehome, actually, you probably want to get into a fight right now. Because there's not a whole lot of opportunities where you're going to be stronger when you have a 10-second BKB and a 9-second BKB, or 8-second BKB, respectively, on your course. And so I think if you're Ehome right now, you force the fight wherever you can take it.
Ehome coming down to this bottom lane. Aloha Dance and Silent. You just one step ahead, and now they may actually turn with Resolution coming in from the side. Here comes Yoki as well. He wants to be able to get that good Echo Slam, but it leads off first with a two-man Fisher. The Gyrocopter's down, a large source of their damage. Yoki's just waiting out the BKBs. And now maybe they're going to reinitiate with the Fisher blocking him out. They're actually decently grouped up. Plasma Field still stops Yoki from being able to go further. Resolution doesn't seem to have the damage, so as a full, Empire will back themselves up. It's just a really bad idea, I think, in general, to try and take a fight once your Gyrocopter's down. He's just such a necessary source of damage.
Yeah, this game is actually really scary right now for Ehome, because if they lose Resolution to a hero like CTY playing the Bloodseeker, the net worth swing is actually going to be so massive. The experience alone is going to be a game changer, but the gold, we haven't even really talked about that. Because his net worth is so high, it's going to swing quite a lot. And I mean, Ehome did the right thing there. They looked for the fight on the heels of both of their BKBs up, and I think they should probably look to do the same again unless they have an overwhelming amount of gold banked up. But yeah, the Clockwork's going to go for the Force Staff. And I'd anticipate the Bloodseeker go for an Assault Curse right now.
Yeah, it seems to be with that Hyperstone what he's going to be building into. Now, very often in order to force a fight, you go for pushes. Thought Ehome were actually just going to push down that Tier 1 tower, but they don't want to allow any creep pressure to go around to their side lanes. Already you have Razor up in the top lane and C2Y farming up middle. So Ehome seem pretty content to just kind of sit back and farm. I mean, they've killed the Gyrocopter a couple of times now. He's not barreling out of farm by any means. Like, he's just only 300 gold ahead of the Bloodseekers. So I feel like they're just assuming, you know what, if the Empire are kind of reaching a point where they have to force a fight, not necessarily right now, but sometime soon, right? They have this advantage on the Gyrocopter. If they finish up the MKB, they should try and take control of the map, or at least take Roshan. So Ehome are okay with just sitting back and farming up that next round of items while they wait.
I think Resolution should... I definitely think they should try to grab an Aegis at some point. I guess they're just afraid of fighting in the enclosed space against the Clockwork. But grouping up as 5 finally is not a bad idea for them at all. Even if you think you have the late game advantage, it's just getting a little bit more scary than you would initially like, right? Ehome is closing the gap on a lot of their cores. The difference in net worth is actually climbed back up to just around 5K.
Jump in. They managed to get both the hookshot and Rupture being placed on Resolution. He's going to drop rather low. In fact, they even have the dust to spy him out, but a good Fisher separates the two, and Resolution turns around and wipes out the Clockwork. Resolution still has a little bit of... Oh, there's the Echo Slam locking down two. They're going to go for CTY, but he has the Shalgrave to save him. Last couple of right clicks, not going to be able to finish him off. Shalgrave gives him way to safety, but Razor's not going to be as lucky. Silence starts running him down. Oh, there's a lot of Midas armor on the Gyrocopter. He actually runs to his very death. And Aloha Dance, who went the relocate play, did get the Bloodseeker, but now as he makes his way back through the tether, it's right through the Razor's plasma field. And Whis dies as well. The Razor survives. 3 go down on the side of Empire for the 2 of Ehome.
Yeah, that's so worth it right now for Ehome, because they're just trading numbers at this point. If you look at the fight recap, it's actually 17-21 gold in favor of Ehome, even though they traded fairly efficiently there. It's just because Empire had a lead, but now you're just going to see the gold creep closer and closer to even, and they're having a really tough time bringing both the Razor and the Bloodseeker down, and it's because every single time now you're seeing it happen. Resolution is the target for the Clockwork, and he has to blow his ultimate on him. But at the same time, he's just wasting too much time because he can't really do anything against the Battery Assault plus the Blade Melt. Like, he doesn't want to fight into ROTK, and so by Resolution not building this BKB, I feel like these fights are just a little bit too difficult for them, and I feel like that should be his target goal, because then he could just get on top of the Bloodseeker or the Razor, but he's going to go for the Octarine core.
I think that makes some sense in the fact that you're still tanking up on your Lina, and then the spell lifesteal will actually allow you to do okay versus the Blade Mail, right? Like, obviously, when you're dishing out damage to the Clockwork, you're taking a lot from that Blade Mail, but it is kind of mitigated by the fact that you're also lifestealing at the same time. So I can see where he's going for this, and I feel like there's a more value late game in the Octarine core being built now rather than the BKB. I mean, it may be that BKB isn't a necessary item for him at all.
The Octarine core is pretty good here in this situation just because it does allow you to just deal so much more damage by lowering the cooldowns for as much as it does. Like, it's essentially like you can cast every spell a little bit quicker. It does make your Fiery Soul even better, just because you can keep spamming spells to keep it up at all times.
Oh, true.
But I just think the BKB is necessary more than anything, just because of the Blade Mail. Like, every single time I'm seeing ROTK initiate, Resolution has to just wait out the Blade Mail, and then he ults him, and then the rest of his team has already died at that point.
Itemized, we still have that gem on the Dazzle. The Ehome hope to control the map. They are going to go Shivas next on our Razor, with the Assault Cuirass soon to be finished up on the Bloodseeker. So the double armor items are coming in rather soon. A Butterfly for Silent, though, will change things up rather dramatically.
He still has to be careful, though, because the Rupture is just doing so much damage to him. And it does look like they want to force down this tier 2 tower. Whether or not
Tier 2 tower, and the jump in hook shot. They're going to be able to grab Silent, push him back into the Razor, but the immediate relocate save. And now with the Resolution on the Rupture, seems like Empire going to be just sitting, turning, and fighting if Empire Ehome try and force this one. They still get a really good Fiend's Grip on the side on the Razor, but there's no follow-up damage whatsoever. Resolution and Silent are focused on CTY, who's going for the kill. The Wiz, he gets it. Blood Rage is back up. Now Silent's dead as well. There goes Yoki, because the Laguna Blade was stolen on him. And Resolution, the only one to escape, it seems. Empire, another tragic fight for them.
Yeah, and this is why it was, if it sounded like I was just, you know, pulling your leg if you're a viewer and saying, oh, well, Ehome have a chance. I know we've been doing that a lot of the days, but CTY just continued to relentlessly farm, and getting the BKBs against a lineup like Empire's is just so good. And now he's got a DD rune. He's going to go for the Roshan, and I mean, Empire's committing so much to this. If they don't get the Roshan here, this could feasibly just be such a big turnaround. Yoki doesn't have the Echo Slam up.
He's got to be careful. The hookshot is up for RTK as well, so Yoki already kind of showing himself. Does make sure that Roshan doesn't fall, but this also means your buybacks were used and you haven't actually gained anything other than stopping Ehome from getting an Aegis. So they kind of need to be able to take it for themselves. Ehome, though, are not going to be ones to shy down from a fight, I think. I mean, there are no cooldowns that they're waiting on. Dazzle doesn't have Weave for another 8 seconds, but I think that's a pretty minor fact.
Yeah, you have to be careful if you're Empire at this point in the game, because if you lose the Earthshaker or Silent, they've both used their buybacks, and that's just slowed down their farm by so much. And even probably more scary than that is just that Resolution hasn't died yet. And that's such a huge bounty on his hero. Whatever goal deficit they're at, they're actually leading now. Ehome is actually leading in net worth for the first time since actually the beginning of the game. Like, they were always down throughout this game, with it dipping as far as 7,500, but now they've swung at 10k the other way, right? Like, they've actually gained 10k gold over, and they've now built up a 2,500 gold lead over Empire. And that's just on the fact that it just feels like Empire are itemizing a little bit worse than Ehome. Like, Ehome's played this really well, and ROTK has just shined throughout this entire time. And Lion M, he stole the Laguna Blade cap in that last fight, and it just did so much work.
Yeah, that was a beautiful steal. He still got it for another 150 seconds. They're going to go for the smoke up now. A 4-man smoke while Razor pushes out that bottom lane. They still have the tier 1 tower up. Looks like they're going to go for a Razor push at bottom while they sneak in Roshan. This is a very clever play, and it looks like Team Empire is going to be caught with their pants down. Roshan just dies so quickly between the Solar Quest and the Blood Rage, and a very small window to actually check it and intercept. And now RTK is going to be able to jump on Aloha Dance, locks inside the cogs, puts a Rupture on him as well, but Aloha Dance will have the room to TP out.
Yeah, casting that Rupture doesn't cost him too much, and it allows them to kind of see how Empire want to fight and if they want to continue to force the fight. But Empire aren't interested in looking for the fight anymore. I think they've realized at this point that they are no longer in control of this game. CTY is so overfarmed. They don't have enough heroes to deal with the double BKB that they have, and the amount of physical damage that CTY and the Razor can tank. There's an AC, a Shiva's Guard completed on the Razor. He's got a mech on top of that. It's actually insane.
It certainly is. Ehome. Tier 2 tower, gonna be forfeit from Team Empire. I mean, they could take the last couple of fights, and those were not into a second life for the Bloodseeker. He's finished up his Assault Cuirass.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Team Empire, this game, obviously, they lost a lot of control. They had this advantage early on, and they just kind of fumbled the ball a few times, and now it's to the court of Ehome. But if this game pushes late, and I'm talking like past the hour marker, is it to the advantage of Ehome still?
I think that Empire, in that case, have the advantage, but right now, Ehome they just have so much more to gain. Like, because if Resolution dies, again, I've been saying that all game, but just wait to see what happens when he dies. Like, that's going to be such a significant swing the other way. And it's really easy for him to die now. Like, they've got a gem completed on one of the supports. This Rubik now has an Aghanim Scepter. So if he steals the Lina's ultimate, it's just going to ruin the fight for Empire. Like, that they actually can't win the fight at that point because he's just going to target the Gyrocopter or the Lina. And that's half your HP.
Yeah.
And then you just combine it with the Rupture and you guarantee yourself a kill. And so Ehome, they're in a much more commanding position than Empire ever were, actually. So Empire still doesn't, they don't have a BKB on Resolution. There's no real farm progression on Silent. Like, it looks deceptive, but the SNY doesn't provide him damage, nor does the BKB, nor does the drums, and so you're against a team that has like 40 armor on half their heroes, with the weave at the same time. Where's your damage going to come from at that point?
Resolution with his Shadow Blade was thinking about taking a poke at CTY, but it's pretty obvious Ehome was sitting behind him, so now the rest of Ehome will be able to center up on that tier 2. Bottom lane being pushed out by Aloha, Dance and his companion Silent. But they're picking up crumbs, where Ehome seem to be having a feast, taking tower after tower and now taking over the jungle as well. This is going to be a very rapid growth in net worth for Ehome that may be simply too big to overcome for Empire if it's not too late.
Yeah, this is a really weird situation now too, because Empire now are the ones trying to come back into this game, but they can do it as well because CTY only has a 5-second BKB. There's only a 7-second BKB on the Razor. They can definitely do this, but they have to get the fight opened up before ROTK just hook shots onto Resolution. Because I think if, in this fight especially, if Resolution just gets hook shotted, they lose the fight because they can all in to try to kill him, and you give up so much gold as a result of that.
So we've seemed to reach a bit of a stalemate here. Obviously, Ehome, being the one commanding the positioning, are taking objective after objective, but are they really ready to push uphill into Team Empire, who have excellent base defense between all their initiators, most notably being Yoki's Earthshaker?
They have to be so careful about fumbling this right now because they're in a position where things can still go either direction, and Ehome, I just feel like it would be such a morale blow after all the work they did to try to come back if they lost it. And at bottom, it looks like Resolution wants to open up, but the entire team from Ehome is ready for this.
Yeah, he's desperate for a pickoff, and he goes for something really out there, like a Razor on his deep and on his side of the map. So he, I think he kind of realized, okay, even if they aren't anywhere near, it's just a bad idea through and through. So Resolution will back up, TP away. Nothing lost from Team Empire, but nothing gained either.
I really just think he needs to sooner or later go for a BKB. I don't think they can take a fight before that point. If he dies, it's just too much of a swing the other way. Getting a BKB would ensure that he would have to be the Rupture target, and probably more importantly, it would allow him to just get rid of the Clockwork without having to waste the ultimate on him. Because that's the major issue right now, is that ROTK hooks in. ROTK is not even that tanky. He doesn't have too much armor, and his HP pool isn't great to work with, so you could even kill him without using the ultimate, and then just use the Laguna Blade to finish off the Razor or the Bloodseeker.
True.
But there's no way that he can use the Laguna Blade on anybody else. And the other thing that Resolution has to worry about now too is the fact that the Rubik can steal it. And look at the range. If you just hover over the hero, the spell steal range is absurdly big now. What a scary game.
Looking at this and going, how is Team Empire ever going to win a fight if Ehome are ready for it? And for me, that says Empire have to go for a surprise pickoff.
Here it is.
It looks like with this smoke, they're going to find something. Lanham, oh no, and now this is actually going to turn around on them. RTK gets the cogs, and they're going to be able to push back, always want to fly. The relocate is here, and they're going to try and fight up against CTY. And Silent versus the carry of Ehome, who quickly turns and kills off the Bane. Now trying to back himself up. Laguna Blade on, quite enough. He shell grades and will be able to get away with a Wisp. Oh, he also goes down to the Razor. Time after time, and this is why perhaps he has such high drafting priority. The Dazzle is really the hero that determines who wins or loses these fights. If they ever caught the Dazzle first, it seemed like Empire could actually have a chance, but every single time he's just sitting in the back ready to go with those shallow graves.
Yeah, and you saw that one fight, this fight, where they finally actually managed to get the Laguna Blade off on the CTY. It just did so much work because Ehome, that was the first fight I felt where they initiated and they didn't have a crushing victory. So you have to do that every single time now. But CTY, he's got an MKB. Once he gets an Abyssal Blade, life is going to be so difficult for CT or for Silent, who looks like he's going for an MKB.
Yeah, CTY is just going to be able to run up and lock down that gyrocopter for a pretty good period of time, especially with the attack speed that he's built up. He actually attacks pretty quick, so he leads with the Abyssal, gets a couple of bashes. Next thing you know, the gyrocopter's down to about a quarter HP, and no matter how much damage he outputs in such a small window, he's still going to fall.
He's ditched the Midas too, unless it's on the Courier. And so this is going to be a true 6 slot coming up pretty soon, and a 5-man smoke from Ehome, and I think they need to do this because ROTK just wants to find the Lina. He wants to see if there's an easy pickoff opportunity, and Resolution might feel as though he's the target, but it's actually mid that has to worry about this.
5-man smoke up, Ehome looking for that opening. Empire are a 4-man that could run straight into it, but Ehome, it's only RTK who loses his smoke, and he's good. Empire will back themselves up, it seems. Safe from the attempted smoke gank of Ehome. Again, just these guys just never quite, like, even when they collide, it comes down to 1 or 2 heroes that go down, and then they back up, and nothing really happens for a few more minutes. It's just such a tense period of time where the team fight is going to determine everything. If Ehome win it, then they just rapidly take a lane of racks. If Empire actually manage to win a team fight, all of a sudden they're back in the game.
Oh yeah, they're more than back in the game. They'd probably take lead again, but Empire are just so afraid of losing
jump in. What a beautiful hook shot. Grabs 2. Already there's a 4-staff away and the relocate out. So they force something. Let's see if they can actually kill Low Hot Dance as he comes back. He's obviously going to go for the immediate tether play. And the Yield Scepter is out. Resolution has actually brought back. Shadow Blade's over to the side. That Fisher kind of blocks out some of the heroes. He lays a lot of damage into ROTK, but not quite enough to finish him out. There he's got the Laguna Rupture, and they're going to try and get him. They manage to Fiend Script up CTY, but the Laguna Blade turned around on the Lina. He goes down. So too does the Wiz. Yoki gets a decent initiation, but it's not enough to turn this fight. It seems Resolution with a buyback is still trying to win it for them. The Bloodseeker's down, and they seem to have caught the Razor as well. Elgrave goes out and a TP away, but Yoki is here. Stops it with the Enchant Totem, and they will pick up that kill. Still Ehome, that was them forcing. They won the fight. They forced a couple of buybacks. Even if they did lose their 2 cores at the end, this is progression, right? We're actually moving somewhere now in this game.
Yeah, and if you look at the fight recap, even with Empire getting as many kills as they did, just that 1 kill that Lan M got onto the Lina swung things so much in their favor, and they have to get this kill right now on DDC and get a lot out of it.
And call down's going to be laid out, and that is actually going to slow down Lanham as well in the background. And RTK actually jumps in. There goes the Laguna Blade once again from Resolution, but DDC.
Oh, he's stolen it again.
Oh my goodness, he's actually going to be able to get away with a steal on Rubik, this is unbelievable. Now it's going to be ready to go for the next team fight. Empire back up. They only get the 2 pickoffs on Bloodseeker and Razor. They can't even get something extra. Well, perhaps Roshan. They're going to be able to get Aegis and Cheese. Oh, no, it's not even Cheese yet.
They don't want to fight against that Rubik with Laguna Blade. Like, that does so much damage to them. They have to go for this Aegis and Cheese right now. And soon after this, they have to get a lot. Because they don't have either of their buybacks, and Ehome are well aware of that now. And they just have to be really careful approaching this next fight. But Empire, they do manage to get 2 kills. It just cost them so much in the process.
Right. Basically left it open where if Ehome win the next fight, it can be potentially straight up GG, just due to the lack of buybacks and long death timers.
I would actually just, if I were Ehome and I want to fight and kill 2 or 3 significant heroes, I would just go for the throne, even over the racks at this point. Yeah. But it hasn't gone to that point yet. We're speaking way ahead of ourselves because Empire has the Aegis, they've got a Cheese, their Gyrocopter all of a sudden deals a ton of damage with that MKB. He's no joke. And you've got Aloha Dance, who's got a medallion at the same time. Can really buff up Silent quite a lot with that overcharge as well.
He really needs that Satanic. He needs that boost of HP because I'm looking at this Rubik going, Lanham's got a Blink Dagger. He's got the Laguna Blade stolen. He's going to have the positioning to jump and Laguna Blade whoever he wants. That could be the Gyrocopter, that could be the Lina. Well, Lena's got the Aegis, so maybe not her, but if they could take out the Gyrocopter nice and quick early on in the team fight because of that pure damage, huge win for Ehome. They pretty much cleaned up the entire team fight from there.
And Lanham is about to lose hold of that Laguna Blade. By the time the next fight rolls around, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to have it. So it doesn't look like either team is willing to engage. Empire doesn't want to get into a fight where potentially they get caught because they still don't have their buybacks, but Ehome doesn't want to get into a fight because they're afraid of the potential of the Aegis right now.
Empire smoked up. Is this going to be another smoke where the 2 teams just pass by each other?
No way! 3-man Echo Slam! He locks down 3 different heroes, but can they finish him up? With the Dragon Sleep, they get 2, and Laguna Blade to finish off CTY as well. Clockwork goes down, and the Razors just left to be feasted on by all of Team Empire. The 5-man wipe and Team Empire are back in it and ready to win it.
Yoki, are you kidding me?
Oh. What a great initiation. Now they've got a refresher on Resolution and ready to force some buybacks from Ehome.
2-2-20. This guy's absolutely insane. I can't even believe that fight. Yoki with the game-saving Echo Slam. And Empire looked like they were in such a sticky situation, but just completely turns that fight and dominates it too.
The glyph goes out, the tier 3 tower though rapidly dropping. Ehome already expended most of their buybacks, but there are a couple of heroes who don't actually have the gold for it. So it seems like Empire, well, they lose the Razor as well. There goes the Shallow Grave, but they need to be able to get the Razor out of here. He pops his BKB, starts running himself away, but he can't get away fast enough. He dies again. That is a dieback down for 2 minutes, and 1 laner Brax seemingly now turning into 2 as Empire rapidly rotate to bottom lane to do their work.
There's no Razor, there's no Rupture. The Bloodseeker uses buyback as well, so he's playing so cautiously, but this is going to mean, at best for Ehome, losing 2 sets of racks right now, and oh my, they've got the Aegis. They might just keep going for this.
Yep, the blood is in the water, man. 80 seconds left. They still have that Aegis advantage. So, starting with the first tier 4 tower, that's already down. Ehome are going to be forced into initiation. They go for Resolution, who does have that Aegis. So even if they do kill him here, it won't matter too much. Shalgrade is being popped. Whoa, there goes the Gyrocopter. CTY just tore him a new one, and now keeps on moving in for the next. Resolution turns around, misses the Light Strike Array. And CTY is just too fast. Sonic the Hedgehog is coming for you, buddy. Yoki stops CTY in his tracks. He's still got the Echo Slam and may use it to try and keep CTY down. No, Yoki! He doesn't get it off in time. Shalgrave now popped, and CTY hoping to be able to catch Resolution, but doesn't quite get there. Empire not forcing any more buybacks on themselves. They sit back, happy with the 2 max advantage that they just gained.
Be still my beating heart. Like, this game has just been so back and forth, and both teams have just done such a good job of playing back from deficits. Like, if you look at the gold graph, it's some sort of weird hill where it's just like, it goes up one way and goes,
that's a 22,000 gold, over 22,000. It's more like 23,000
in the
gold
span
exchange.
of like 7 minutes.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, that's insanity.
That's just so absurd. And, you know, we've been saying it all along. Both teams have the potential to win this game. And they've just been trading blows back and forth. And
yeah, you get a kill here. Like most of the time, like Empire go into a fight, they lose like two heroes for one because their Shallow Grave saved another one, and it was like, okay, Ehome just got another slight advantage, but it wasn't anything major. It wasn't anything game-changing until that Yoki Echo Slam came to the fore.
That he's been waiting for that all game, and it was worth every single moment of it. If they managed to win this game, that would just keep their hopes alive for staying in the upper bracket and not having to go to the lower bracket and potentially being eliminated in just one game. Imagine if they end up going 2-2 for the day. That would be a salvageable position. Going 0-3 after their first 2 losses against Vici Gaming, I feel like that's just a morale breaker, but man, that could have just saved their hopes. And Ehome scrambling to figure out what to do as they're down 2 sets of racks and not a whole lot of buybacks. Roshan's not going to be up for at least a little bit longer, and Empire are in the much better position right now because they have the buybacks available once again. The time has refreshed. They're all 6-slotted. Resolution replaces that Aegis with the Refresher Orb. And now suddenly everybody from Empire is just completely decked out.
Yeah, Gyrocopter is sitting on an extra 4,200 gold. He's 6-slotted. Of course, he can change in the phase boots for Boots of Travel and S and Y for another upgrade in damage, though I'm not sure what that would be. What would you go? Do you like the Abyssal that we occasionally see from Gyrocopters when they're dealing with a melee carry on the other side? Or do you prefer something like a more stat-based Scotty or even an all-in move like Divine?
I think the Scotty is an okay idea. Even getting something like the Abyssal probably wouldn't be too bad. I'm trying to think right now.
I really like the Abyssal just because it's a very big increase in damage, and you've got, it's like one of the few situations where an Abyssal on a ranged hero is warranted because you're going to make use of that active. You know you will because the CTY is going to come straight for you.
Yeah, especially because of the Bloodseeker core, but they just have to be really patient right now. Try not to lose anything. If they can just force one death on the side of Ehome, though, the game pretty much ends because there's no buyback on the Razor, there's no buyback on the Bloodseeker, and there's quite some time before that is, and I think Empire is well aware of that, but yeah. Man, Dota's insane. All of these games lately have just been so... Who knew that if you stuck the 16 best teams in the world together, you'd have insane games where they were incredibly close, but I mean, the skill difference between these teams are so minor.
Ehome coming in with a 5-man smoke. Team Empire may be caught here. They've got a couple heroes farming up the jungle. They see some of RTK. Whoa! Intercepted there by neutral creep. Forced to himself forward. Always want to fly. Still going to be caught, and Empire are going to retreat. They say, see you later, always want to fly. We're not going to try and mount a rescue mission.
Yeah, that's not too big of a loss for them. I think they're perfectly okay with that because
RTK.
They're in the position where Ehome actually have to be the aggressors. Like, they can just play defense all day, wait for one slip up, go for the back door with a relocate. Like, they have that option now, and so
yeah.
Ehome just have to be so afraid. I think that was their YOLO smoke attempt to hopefully get more, and it doesn't cost them the game, but at the same time...
Yeah, this is the return kill. Resolution comes back with his Shadow Blade and immediately lands the Eul Scepter Light Striker Rain. Looks like a secondary kill. CTY is actually going to try and fight up against Silent. The Cogs actually separates the two. The relocate comes out, and there goes the clock where the Laguna...
Oh, the Echo! Oh, a 4-man Echo Slam for Yoki. Locks down 4, but there's no damage because the relocate over to the side. Silent isn't anywhere nearby, and now they're going to try and run away, but Resolution, he's still going to be caught here, it seems. The rest of Empire, what looked to be such a great initiation halfway through the fight, actually just baits more tests from Team Empire. So they've lost their Lina. She's down for 2 whole minutes. Does have a buyback though. Ehome, not sure if they're going to have the opportunity to force it though. They've got middle, bottom, and top lane all pushing in.
That was just so unlucky because right as the Earthshaker comes in, they pop both the BKBs, I think. Not a whole lot of damage dealt there. So we overhyped that.
Yep.
I'll just say that you overhyped that. That wasn't me. But just that could have been the game right there for Empire. Like if Yoki was either half a second faster or if Ehome was a quarter of a second slower, then that could have just been a complete wipe that would have changed the complete landscape of this game once again. I don't even know if I can handle it at that point. It's, if the lead changes again, like it's starting to slowly creep back up.
Lotus Orb now for DDC. So hoping to turn around that Laguna Blade. It also means Fiend's Grip is not an option.
Oh, Moonshot's got eaten by the gyrocopter.
Oh, I always forget about that extra upgrade.
Everyone does.
Yep. So he doesn't replace the SNY just yet. Still has an extra 3K in the bank for buyback if necessary. Arlena buying the gem. Still has a buyback. 4,200 gold. Where do you go from here? Do you sell Shadowblade or Yule Scepter?
Just come on, man, get a BKB. Like,
I told you, I was like, maybe a BKB just becomes not necessary for him with that Octarine core, and it seems like Lena, well, he seems to agree.
man, I hate BKB as an item. A lot of people know that. I don't want to say everybody, that's pretentious. But BKB, it's such a good item, it's boring. It's so good. It protects you from magic. It's like 90% of the game.
Okay, but excluding the blade mail factor, what else is he really afraid
he
of?
probably-
It's just the telekinesis.
He probably needs a Hex more than anything.
Yeah.
I'm just messing with him at this point. If he had gotten it 20 minutes ago, I would have said, yeah, that's a fantastic item choice, but I'm just kidding at this point. Resolution, the thing is, it sounds like I'm criticizing his build, but I hope people know that for the most part I'm joking, because when you're playing in this situation, you get a really good feel, right? And Resolution's clearly worked this out in his head, that he doesn't feel as though the BKB is 100% necessary, and it's not a make or break item at this phase of the game. And so for him not to go for it, I think, is pretty acceptable.
Oh, jump in, and they found Yoki. He still has a Force Staff and will actually be relocated to the side. And they've got this cliff advantage. I highly doubt Ehome are going to force it. TTY throws out the silence. And Aloha Dance actually comes back, immediately hit by the hook shot. They're going to try and burst him down and will be successful. Empire not able to mount a defense for their poor little ally. And this, of course, happened right outside the Roshan pit with Roshan respawning. Time for Ehome to pick up an Aegis. Jeez.
This game's crazy because Empire have the advantage in terms of farm and racks, but Ehome is pretty much just doing whatever they want on the map. It's almost like whoever has the lead is more afraid because they don't want to blow it. And Ehome just willing to take that risk, go for that Roshan, even when they don't have the buyback on the Razor. And I think that was the right play. They've got an Aegis, they've got another cheese. They've got so much farm on every LAN. What? Are you kidding me? There's absurd amount of farm. He's got a full Scythe of Ice. I can't even believe this guy. He's been so clutch the entire game. He's got more net worth than the Clockwork. He's only 5K in net worth behind the Razor, who was the one position farmer. He's had so many clutch steals this game. How many times have I seen him steal Laguna Blade or Fissure?
I think it's at least 2 or 3 times for Laguna Blade, which is insanity in and of itself. Going back to, let's see, Satanic on Gyrocopter. Supports pick up anything new? Got Vlad's on Bane. Nothing that's really game-changing on any of these heroes just yet. Another Lotus Orb. It's time for the Wisp.
Nobody's items have changed radically. There's one on the... There's a Lotus Orb on the Dazzle, which can actually be really good if you cast it on CTY at the right time.
Yeah.
Then you can more or less make the Refresher Orb useless, right? Because he can just keep rebounding the Lina ultimate back in his face. So Lina has to be really careful about that, and Resolution is playing a dangerous game, just trying not to get caught at this bottom lane while simultaneously playing pressure.
There's the big change up in items, right? Like the Abyssal Blade significantly increases Bloodseeker's power versus the Gyrocopter. I mean, obviously it increases his power against everyone else, but his focus is probably going to be, I need to jump on that Gyrocopter, lock him down with the Abyssal Blade active, and hope I get some a couple of bash procs on top of that.
Yeah. I would actually like to see a Daedalus on Resolution to replace the Yule Scepter. Just go all out for the damage at this point.
Okay.
That ultimate is, it's good, but it's unreliable because there will be Lotus Orb, there'll be Blade Mails, you can get locked down, you can get it stolen by LAN. So I feel going just for the pure damage is probably worth it at this point. But it remains to be seen what he wants to go for. LAN just continues to do Rubik things.
Jesus. The roller coaster ride that has been this game. We started things off at one point with an 8,000 advantage to Team Empire that switched up to a 10K advantage to Ehome, and back down to 12,000 gold to Empire. If this game continues along this trajectory, we could even see an 14,000, 15,000 gold lead for Ehome coming up if they win the next fight.
If you look really closely, the graph almost looks like a C and a 9. Oh my, all right, there's a Divine Rapier.
Oh, there it is. They're going to wait out this Aegis another 2 minutes, and then Team Empire are ready to rumble.
Yeah, this game
It feels very, very absurd, though, to get the Divine Rapier while the Aegis is still up on Ehome.
It's also crazy because they're in the more advantageous position. Like, they're in a position right now where they're up 2 sets of racks. But I guess they feel like they're just lacking damage right now, and Silent could just win the game for them here. So, to be really careful right now, though. They can't lose that. If they gave that up to the Bloodseeker, I mean, what does he even drop? Oh,
yeah, SNY.
SNY, yeah. And
He's still got that.
then from there, you've got a Bloodseeker that has an Abyssal Blade and Divine Rapier. You don't want to fight against that, so Empire now have to kind of play cat and mouse.
65 minutes in, 27 to 33. Ehome going for that 4-man smoke up. See if they can't find a fight. Well, they've still got something to work with here. So Boots of Travel, yeah, he's got the level 2 Boots of Travel on Razor, so he will be able to get to them if they run into a team fight. Really hoping to force a fight while they still have the Aegis, but doesn't look like they're going to find anybody. Empire playing very passively right now, especially with that Divine Rapier. You know, in that last minute that Aegis is up, Ehome are going to be, you know, scrambling to find a team fight.
Yeah, there's actually no buyback up on the Bloodseeker for a little bit at least. He needs 150 gold just to get it. So once he gets this, I'd imagine they can look for a fight because they've got it on both of their core heroes that they need to. And on the flip side, Empire does have buyback on pretty much everybody that they need, but if this Gyrocopter loses his Rapier, then things get wild again. So he's just going to have a huge empty slot, and in a game that's on this long with how many items everybody has, you need to be 6-slotted. You just can't afford not to be.
There goes that Aegis. I mean, Empire could just sit back and go, okay, we're going to farm up until we have a secondary Divine and a buyback ready to go. Before we try and push into the enemy base and take that final lane of rags, let's make sure that if that goes bad in any way, we have a backup plan.
I think that's what they'll do. They seem pretty content right now with the pace of the game because the onus isn't on them right now because all they have to do, their win condition is a lot easier. They go for the Mega Creeps. Push on is a lot easier for them to approach, right? And so there's just so many different ways they can work at this, but they have to be careful. Landham does have a gem up, and he's got the Hex. It doesn't look like Empire want to engage this whatsoever. I think this is the right idea because they don't have enough information on the map.
Oh, hookshot actually snags Always Want to Fly, and the Razor is coming in as well. RTK, dodge that Light Strike array. The relocate is here. They're going to fight this one. RTK is already down and out. They get a Fiend's Grip onto the Razor, but the rest of Team Empire, again, abandoning Always Want to Fly. So 1-for-1 trade-off seemed to be Empire judged that as just too risky.
Yeah, that was actually just... It was a really good fissure by Yoki to actually kind of isolate them out so that they couldn't get any more than Always Want to Fly. I mean, somebody has to die in that situation. Better Always Want to Fly than anybody else, in all honesty. Like, he isn't going to get any new items in this game. He's pretty much tapped out.
Right.
He doesn't have any gold. His farm progression has pretty much died, and so it's probably better for him to die over pretty much anybody else on his team. And getting ROTK, like, kills like this don't change too much if they're not on cores anyways.
Autumn just pushing aggressively forward. Not sure what he's really looking for. He's just trying to find like, maybe some defensive wards or what, but he just barrels on into the jungle to see if he can find something. Yoki moving forward here in the middle lane. He's got Resolution joining him. Do they actually have the damage to take on the Razor, though? He's sitting on 3k HP. I highly doubt it. Though with double Laguna Blades, I suppose anything's possible. Yeah, it's 2k damage right by itself.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about being able to do damage. It's whether you want to commit that much. You'd probably have to blow
Echo
Possibly
Slam
the Echo.
and both ultimates from
Yeah, exactly.
Xeno.
Yeah, Roshan will spawn at any moment. And it looks like Ehome are well aware of that. Getting into a fight is a bad idea right now.
Aloha Dance, he pops the Lotus Orb on himself. It actually puts Rupture on CTY. He gets it tether over to the side and needs to relocate back to safety perhaps. The Cogs are protecting as well as the Fisher for now. Aloha Dance, even the rocket, another hook shot. Aloha Dance slept up and will be going down soon. Silent actually turns to fight this one, but he does have the Divine Rapier locked up in the Abyssal. There goes that Divine, and CTY actually gets away. They're going to be able to try and turn this fight still. Resolution gets some damage out, but it's not enough. Oh no, Empire just dropped that Divine Rapier and going to be losing multiple heroes here as Bane falls as well. A huge loss there for Empire, who only now have the buyback on Gyro, not the damage of the Divine Rapier. Now, the one upside is that the bottom and middle lane are still going to be pushing out, but...
Oh, this mid lane, Yoki goes for it!
Oh my god, Yoki just makes the jump and managed to take out the Bloodseeker 2 full minutes. That might have just saved Empire so much.
CTY was hesitating so much to go. He wasn't sure if he wanted to just heal in the base, and then the Earthshaker just comes in, snipes him. He has buyback at the same time. And I mean, Yoki's just come up time and time again for Empire. Only 5 deaths in a 70-minute game. As an Earthshaker against the type of heroes he's against, he's done such a good job of being able to stabilize this game for his team. But Empire, they don't have a lot of gold on their Gyro. Even if he buys back, he's not going to have that 6 item slot that he covets. And there is an Echo Slam and a buyback on the Earthshaker, but this will be the game-determining fight here. Is they've got the Divine.
They've got Laguna Blade on Lanem. They've got the Divine Rapier in the hands of the Razor. Blood raped up Razor.
Oh my.
Doing well over 500 damage. And now the jump in on Yoki. He's been caught. And he will be taken out by the combination of the Laguna Blade and the hook shot.
There's no buyback on him now.
Wasn't there in time. And now, with no buyback, it's going to be a full 4 versus 5. The Gyrocopter's coming back soon, but he needs desperately to be able to help out Aloha Dance and Resolution, who seem to be just running outside of their own base. Relocate back. Wisp, he actually is going to be able to get back to the fountain in time, but always want to fly, not so lucky. Abyssal Blade is being put on him. Silent drops the call down. Silence actually finishes up. Always want to fly. Ehome now looking for that next target. Silence forced back, and they will now turn their attention to the bottom lane of Rex.
This Razor isn't taking any damage whatsoever. He's got a Scythe of Ice. He has his BKB back up. The Divine Rapier is just doing so much damage right now, and this could just mean multiple lanes of Rax.
Oh, a lot of just caught Silent. There goes the hook shot as well. Silent can't afford to die a second or time. Aloha Dance coming in trying to save his ally, but he's down for 1.5 minutes, and that's got to be it. Empire have just lost too much. Ehome, they saw the opening. They took that Divine Rapier away from Empire, and now will win game number 1 with Silence Rapier.
And Lanem, the double Laguna Blade, he's just done so much work. This is going to mean the game, and it's a heartbreaking one for Empire. They were up 2 sets of racks. They had such a big lead. Then they battled back from nothing to pick up that 2 racks advantage, but Ehome is just too much for them to handle.
So Empire, spirits got to be feeling low as they're now sitting on 3 losses. Really can't afford another one. They're going to shake things off and head into game